On the day list this morning, Nigerians encourage corruption, cites Jim Festa of the Punch newspaper. A notice Nigerian Governor Forum calls for Okonjo Iweala's
says new PDP.
Page 2 of the Punch newspaper.
The dailies every day on Core TV News.
Welcome back. The program is still called Digest on Core TV News Lagos. Time now to review major headlines in some Nigerian newspapers. And it's not only Murphy Abadoni that will be joining me to do this, but I also have here in the studio Ufi Uzono. He's a legal practitioner. Good morning, Ufi.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and of course to you again, Murphy. Good morning. Okay, let's begin straight up with The Guardian this morning. The major headline story here is about a focus on the program today that Osinbajo launches cleanup of as Buhari cancels Ogoni visit. Riders, Saruwiwa, others didn't die in vain, says President. Government to clean up 27 oil communities in Delta. There you have to the left, scientists claim universal cancer vaccine breakthrough. But that's some good news. How Nigeria's barking dough emerged OPEC's scribe. Rider, diesel price hits 170 naira as cooking gas nears 4,000 naira. 3 feared dead as flood wreaks havoc in Ibadan. And there we have a picture story of Vice President Yemi Osinbajo left Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike and Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha during the launch of the cleanup of OGONI land by the Vice President yesterday at Bodo. And here is an excerpt of the Victoria Aguiyi-Ironsi interview where said he's seen hell, heaven. Well, some of the you want details of that, you can open to the pages of The Guardian for details. Let's now return to the studio. Osinbajo launches cleanup as Buhari cancels Ogoni visit. What does that speak about? Okay, the president's absence, the vice president's presence, and all of that. Okay, let's have Murphy.
It's not really a big deal. After all, they work together. If the president cannot attend and the vice president is there, what matters is that the cleanup of Ogoni land has commenced after a very long while. This is the first time we have seen a thing like of this nature, even if several governments in the past have made several efforts towards that direction, but couldn't achieve it because because of corruption or because they didn't have the willpower. And Tango will not have it there, and let's see how it goes. It's a welcome development.
Okay, now it's not only Ogoni that to be cleaned up, as the government is to clean up 27 oil communities in Delta State. Ufi, what do you say?
Well, I think when you look at the checkered history of Nigeria and oil exploration, you see that there is a lot that has gone down, the wire, like people see. And it all boils down to government's determination to do what it ought to do. But you see, some of these things cannot be done except there is a legal framework that enables the government to do that. I think that was the reason why the PIB bill was sent to the House and they never got it passed. Because there are issues that have to do with adequate care for the host communities and then how to take care of oil spillage and all of that. Now, you have successive governments that were unable to do that, either because they were military governments or they were civilian government that needed a legal backing to be able to do that. The flag of this, and then also going forward to state that it will involve so many other communities beyond the Ogoni land, is a good step in the right direction.
Okay.
It's not everything we criticize, but I think this is good. It's better late than never. Let it begin and let us see the sincerity of purpose by government, then we can be able to score the government in the next 12 months.
Okay, and then there's some good news here in the health sector as scientists are claiming universal cancer vaccine breakthrough. What do you say, Murphy?
We should be something to celebrate. We should be happy about that. Cancer has really been a major challenge in the recent years, and if we now have a solution to that effect, it's something we should celebrate and expect them to work more and see how we can have a solution, medical solution to some other the diseases that has been challenged to our existence.
Okay, now 3 feet dead as flood wreaks havoc in Ibadan. The rain is causing so much in different parts of the country. Woofy.
Yes, it's a natural. When you talk about global warming, I talk about the depletion of the ozone layer. You are going to expect a lot of things to happen at the extreme. You have the sun at the extreme. You have rainfall, flooding, and then ice, snow, and all of that. Everything is almost in the excess, and that's because of the ecosystem that have been disturbed on the universal scale.
Yeah.
So, but thank God it's not as grievous as we have thought.
Okay.
And then another thing is whether government is always willing and ready to tackle such issues and then to map out plans just in case it happens. So we don't run into frenzy. You have in the United States, immediately before anything happens, they already alert people so they can even leave the area until after it has passed. That's what I expect in Nigeria. So we expect that the meteorological department should be able to forecast. They said we expect this type of thing to happen. Please, everybody living there should evacuate until that time has passed. But we are not seeing that yet, and that's what we should expect. But this is rain, so we can't really fault them. So rainfall can just occur when the cloud moves. So we won't blame.
There's nobody to blame in this case.
No, we won't blame anybody. But thank God it wasn't as grievous.
Okay, let's now move on to the point today, and right above its masthead, fire guards old National Assembly, destroys 4 floors. Buhari shuns rivers, pipelines attacked in Bayelsa. Riders, gunmen kill 3 soldiers, 4 civilians in Delta. FG inaugurates OGONI clean-up program. Beside the masthead, Air Force chief remanded in prison over 166 million naira contractor's gift. And the major headline story here: groups protest at embassies, demand Nigeria's restructuring. Rider Akinrinade Murray Bruce back agitations. And there you have picture stories of members of the Nigerian National Summit Group and other civil society organizations during a protest on the implementation of the 2014 National Conference report in Lagos on Thursday. And there are other stories there. Bakindo emerges, OPEC Secretary General. Oyo Labour leaders arrested for disrupting meeting. Cooking gas price rises by 45%. Let's look at we'll talk about these groups now who are demanding, even at embassies, demanding Nigeria's restructuring. And you have Akinrinade and Murray Bruce, you have the senator backing the agitations for restructuring. What kind of restructuring this? Along regional lines, along the state lines?
The main argument is true fiscal federalism, which is, as far as I'm concerned, the best way forward. And these things have been deliberated upon and decisions taken on them at the national conference. The bad thing was that the APC refused to be part and parcel of that conference. And now the APC seems to be suggesting that the report of that conference will go to the archives. Why must it go to the archives when it will solve Nigeria's problem? You see, one of the demands of the agitators in the Niger Delta that I've discovered or I get to know about is that they're saying that there must be true fiscal federalism, and then nepotism should be curbed as much as possible. Those are the undertones, and that's what is giving rise to a lot of people saying, no, we want out of this federation because our interests are not protected, because we feel marginalized. Why would I produce and then another person consumes the most? Or why would I have these resources in my backyard and then some other person far away from where I am suffering all of the spillages and all of that, the destruction of the ecosystem, will now have 80% of the oil blocks and all of that. Then we will suffer it. We can't even fish. So when you begin to look at all of this, we are talking about structures and we're talking about superstructures. You cannot build a superstructure on a faulty structure or foundation as you may. These issues are very germane to the continued harmony, unity and peace of the Federation of Nigeria. And I expect the government to go back to say, just as they have gone to this OGONI land to say, we want to begin. I think that's a step in the right direction. So if the government can go back and look at the conference report and then bring it out and say, okay, let us implement it in the first phase and then second phase and third phase, that would be perfect for us. For instance, if you have the state police, that the governor can easily give command and then they can quell any uprising or whatever that's happening in the state, that would be perfect. Rather than waiting to get to permit you to even understand. And so what's the essence of saying that the state governor is the chief security officer of the state when he doesn't have much power to command the GOC or command the commissioner of police to do a certain thing to ensure there is peace and order in the state, and then the carnage goes on, and then you say you're having a federation? That really is not federation. If you want to follow federation, sorry for taking you long, if you want to follow federation, then we must look at the example of the US, and then we can see what we can be able to come up with.
Okay, now there's some good news here. As Nigerian is now the OPEC General Secretary General. Murphy?
Yeah, well, personally, I actually don't celebrate such much. I'm sorry about that, but I don't really bother so much about what Nigerians become. Anyway, we'll have challenges here and there.
But it could be a step in that direction because the organization of petroleum exporting.
I'm aware of that now. Before now, we had a Nigerian in OPEC too as what was sheep. Those are not the issues. We have issues here. Whether a Nigerian is in OPEC board, blah blah. That is not the issue. Let us face our challenge. But it's okay. Congratulations to him.
Okay. Well, that does it for the Punch. Let's move over to the Nation now. And what headlines are here above its masthead? Why we moved Fani Kayode to Lagos by EFCC. Ex-NNPC chief Bakindo is OPEC Secretary General. Federal government scraps post-UTME with immediate effect. 166 million naira bribe. Court remands Air Force chief in prison. OGONI oil spill cleanup begins. Beneath the masthead, troops rout Boko Haram insurgents, says military. IATA urges Nigeria, Venezuela to release $5 billion airlines cash. And the strip here, police shortlist 338,227 of 911,438 job applicants for screening on Monday. The major headline story on the front page of the Nation: militants kill 2 soldiers, 5 others in boat house attack. Riders, army declares 1 missing. Group threatens to launch missiles. And on fire, the old National Assembly building at Tafawa Balewa Square, TBS, Lagos, on fire yesterday. Well, that's a picture story. And another headline piece here: flood destroys homes in Ibadan. Rider, rail tracks, buildings, others affected. Residents recount ordeal. And a strip here: Saraki's trial at CCT resumes Tuesday. Labour back strike in Ekiti. Ondo. Well, which of the... Let's look at the militants killing 2 soldiers, 5 others in boat house attack. Even while the launching of the cleanup of OGONI Land was ongoing, which we expect is to have a positive impact on all Niger Delta region, the entire Niger Delta region. There's still some violence in some other parts, of course, involving militants.
I can bet you that the cleanup of OGONI Land will not in any way stop the militancy in the Niger Delta, because over the time we have seen that there have been versions of this militancy, and they do not even have a single voice. It has almost become a business, and that is a typical example of what you are seeing. Of course, most of them were not even asking for the cleanup of the Niger Delta. That is one point we should also understand. What are they asking for?
Okay, so we would actually look into that fully in the course of the discussion.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say in the bottom line is that that will not make any much effect, because the militancy has been politicized. It has become a sort of business. So you will continue to see crises, and I would just hope that the government will come up with a better solution within a short time.
Okay, now in education, the federal government...
Sorry, can I join in?
Okay.
In that matter, I think the issue will be, people reason. To assume that people don't know what is happening and then you spin tales for them to take home is not sufficient, especially in this social media age where information flies left, right and center, and then there are authoritative sources from where you can source information. And then there is this what we call people will just accidentally make admissions or state certain things from government quarters, and then you add the bits together and you can make out the true picture. When you have such a situation and then you have a country that has so much enlightened individuals, there are very intelligent Nigerians who look at everything on the table and then they say, look, there is injustice here, there's inequities, there is inequalities, and then the relationship to the source of the sources of production and also the sharing formula. These are the things that give rise to all of these agitations and all of that. So if you ask me, I would say that the reasons why the agitation came forth is not so much as connected, it might be connected to a large extent to the OGONI issue, but there are threads of other events that have happened over time that we always sweep under the carpet that gave rise to all of this. Okay, let me give you an instance. Now when you have this Biafra peaceful processions and then the army goes to shoot at them, it sends a message. You have the herdsmen attack and then everybody keeps quiet. And then these people are looking, gradually they may come to us and then things may happen. And then you now have the spillages and all of that. All of these things combine to form a mindset that says, look, these people don't really care about us. It's just to conquer and plunder. Conquer and you understand. And these are things that are giving rise. That's why we must be honest when it comes to leadership. And we must be able to say this and this. And then you now have the OGONI clean-up coming up on the heels when the militancy has already begun. So people now say, is it because the militancy began that the government now decided that this should be done to take away the steam? We must ask ourselves the question, then we must be truthful to ourselves in this country. Without truth, I tell you, we will not get it right in this country.
Okay,
let us place everything on the table.
Okay, we'll talk really extensively on that while the discussion is on. But there's this headline here I'd like us to look at. The federal government has scrapped post-UTME with immediate effect. Is it coming too early or too late?
Very good, very good.
Very good. And then it has pegged the cutoff mark at 180.
Perfect.
Do you think that's beautiful for the Nigerian education sector?
But for me, scrapping the UTME is a good
post-UTME, yes,
which I personally have always been against. I've always been against
okay,
it.
So we have pro.
But I have a problem with federal government pegging the cutoff at 180. 180. I think each university or each institution should be able to determine what their cutoff mark should be. That is what I feel.
Okay. Well, let's move on to the last paper up for review this morning. We're running out of time. It's the Vanguard, and it has headlines: Biafra Remembrance Day. Soldiers storm Zeke's teaching hospital. Whisk away injured IPOB members. OGONI clean-up. All theft, illegal refining must stop now. Buhari. The major headline story here: militants kill 2 soldiers, 6 civilians, sink houseboat. Riders: we didn't kill 2 soldiers, that's Avengers. JMDLF to test missiles in 6 Niger Delta states from June the 7th. Stop, you're killing Delta, Okowa tells militants. Britain, Bayelsa monarch caution FG over military option. Picture story there again of the cleanup of OGONI land, where you have the Minister of State for the Environment, Ibrahim Jebre, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State, and Governor Rochas Okorocha of Imo State during the launch of cleanup of OGONI land by the Vice President in Bodo, Gilkana local government area, Rivers State, yesterday. FG scraps post-UTME tests. 1.4 trillion naira fine. Why MTN may not make full payment. That's the National Assembly. And of course, that story again about Nigeria's Barkindo becoming new OPEC scribe. This MTN fine issue is still on. And now the National Assembly is giving reasons that MTN may not make full payment of that fine.
Well, I think it's not very good for business. these are things that can be resolved politically, because now you have the South African government wading in, because MTN is a multinational corporation.
Yeah.
You understand? And then coming to look at the business aspect, they are employing your people, they are your land, and then they are giving value also. You understand? They are giving back to the community.
But should that give them the rights now to flout orders or instructions? Register every SIM card. Let every SIM card user be registered, and well, so many times they give they give the information. Go to our call centers. Go to our agents. Register. Even those who've registered still receive those SMSs. You still go there, and eventually you'll still send the text again, and you're wondering whatever happened to the information I dropped the first time.
I think it's a problem of database. Some of the times they may ask you go again and register, and then you go back, they say, look, you're already registered. They have to be doubly sure. But even in law, first time offenders don't get high-handed punishments as they should have, even when the law, by the time you do your locutus, you talk, and then you appeal to court that this is a first-time offender, he has a clean record, he has never done, this was by accident and all of that. The court will consider all of that. So I think it's on the basis of that the government can also consider and say, look, even though we gave you, the authorities gave you this much, okay, if you can meet up this, and then since you're a first-time offender, but don't do it anymore. Make sure all of this are done. It's good for business. So that we don't suffer the same over there. In our own companies.
But even if you have to, because the point is this, most of these companies have been operating elsewhere, and they go into those countries, they obey their laws. But they come in here, don't forget, that is also because they come in here and they meet us as corrupt people. Otherwise, why would an MTN that has been operating in other countries and they obey laws come to Nigeria and will not follow simple instructions? That is also not to shy away from the facts he made, that the government can also negotiate it and talk it over, because we also have so many things to gain from MTN. Like he said, they employ our people, they have brought employment here and all that and all that. But at the same time, these companies coming into Nigeria must learn to respect our laws. Okay. Because our companies do so when they go there.
Of course, yes. And one thing I would also like to mention, that it was actually the telecommunications company that initiated the courts. The courts proceeding, how do you put it? They're the ones that started the whole court case, and so it was somehow like, how do you get to the federal government when you should have gone to negotiating table and talk things through?
Don't forget that there are two sides to the story.
Oh yes, of course.
Follow the single story narrative. You always get it wrong.
This will be the focus some of the time.
But the fact is that they went against the rule.
That's what we were told, but no, they listen to the
MTN has not denied that. MTN has not. I think that shouldn't be an issue.
Okay, well, some of the time that will be the focus of this one. But today we're looking at the OGONI Land Clean-Up, a remedy too late. Let's go on another break, and we'll delve into that topic deeply. Remember, you can be a part of the conversation. Let's do this together. Join us after the break.
For topical issues, Nigerians must have something to say.
Arms. We don't need arms for anything. Let them put it into education.
They need to buy another arms now. What are they fighting for? Government should deal with them squarely.
Please help us bring back our guests. No money, no markets. We are dying. Everybody is crying. Nothing.
Any man God support, no man stops.
It's a prophecy I believe he must have received from heaven.
Yes.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Everything has got to go.
Core TV News now live on all Androids.
Welcome to Core TV Primetime News.
Download Core TV News app from your Play Store. Click on the menu to see all our top stories, from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV, to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. Core TV News, a 24-hour news station. You can now watch Core TV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to Core TV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click Core TV, leave a space, then news. Core TV News, a 24-hour news station.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back. The program is still called Digest on Core TV News Lagos, and today we are looking at the launch of the cleanup of Ogoni Land. We're asking if it is a remedy too late or if it is coming just right on time. I still have with me this great gentleman, Murphy Abadoni, a public affairs analyst. Murphy, thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure.
And of course, Ufi Uzono is still here. He is a legal practitioner. Morning to you again, Ufi.
Good morning. I'm not ungrateful. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Yesterday it was pomp and pageantry. You had representatives from different quarters all gathered in Bodo, that Ngokana local government area of River State, celebrating or commemorating now the launch of the cleanup of Ogoni Land. Will this be an end to the different crises and agitations we've been hearing from the Niger Delta region? This singular act, would it settle all of that?
It won't be an end because cleaning up of the Ogoni land wasn't the only thing the Niger Delta people were asking for. And apart from that, the Niger Delta crisis has really grown branches at this point, and it has become political also. And that is why you see that presently we do not actually know what the present Avengers or the present militants are asking for. And that was also why when the Yaradua administration brought amnesty, though I personally was not very much interested in the amnesty thing, because I condemned it and I told those that cared to listen not to accept it, because you can't be granting me amnesty when I have not done anything contrary to the state laws, when I'm not a criminal. You can't be granting me pardon. Amnesty is like granting a pardon when I have not offended anybody. And they missed it also from that point. You know why I said so? Because at that point, virtually the whole world was in support of the Niger Delta struggle. And even up to date, Niger Delta struggle is one struggle that has support all over the world. But along the line, they missed it because you granted amnesty to some people without a clear cut of what the amnesty was all about. Ask people to bring arms, and you place them on salaries. You send some to training that they never asked for. You know, your thing is just laughable that they never asked for. You were sending a man who was not interested in going to school to Malaysia to become a pilot. That was why we didn't hear anything about it. When they came back, which airline has recruited any of them? You send people, you send somebody who is not interested in going to school to go and learn engineering somewhere. And at the end of the day, you placed these other people on salaries without working. That was even more dangerous to the people of Niger Delta, because it means that at the end of the day, you are saying, if you are from this region, grow up, don't bother to go to school, don't bother to learn a trade, grow up and become a militant and begin to earn a salary from the government. I don't know if you are getting it. So that did not really change anything, because that did not bring development, which the Niger Delta people were asking for ab initio. If you can remember, when people like Isaac Adakaboro, Kensarowa, whom I refer to as the people that struggle, the rich strugglers of the Niger Delta interest. They, first of all, their struggle was purely on the development of Niger Delta. Give Niger Delta people a larger percentage of what is coming from oil that belong to them. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, Abacha executed Sarowa and the 9 others and all that and all that. We had this new set of militants whom, remember, Adakaboro didn't carry arm. Sarowa didn't carry arm. They did most of the agitations with their pen and paper, especially Ken Sarowa. Then this other face who choose to carry arms ended up having their way through that amnesty program, had so much money from the government, became multi-billionaires. At that point, they never bothered about what was happening in the Niger Delta anymore, because they even did universities abroad. They were flying all over. They bought private jets, and none of them discussed it on any platform or any forum anywhere. What was happening in OGONI land, what was happening in Niger land, what was happening in Delta, what was happening in these other areas. So at this point, I can categorically tell you that the present militants are not asking for OGONI land to become to be cleaned up. They want to enrich themselves. That is just the truth. Because some other person did it and today they are multi-billionaire. So why will I not do the same and become a multi-billionaire? Okay. Because I haven't gone through the amnesty program. It's supposed to be that after this year, the Niger Delta area should have been developed, and even the national confab that we had, I was expecting my people again, because I'm from Niger Delta, during that confab to go and demand for 100% control of whatever comes from oil. They should have started from there. You mentioned fiscal federalism. That is the way to go. But since we do not even have that yet, the Niger Delta people must have a single voice. You must say, this is what I want. And you must be focused. You must be stable in asking for that. It's not when one government comes and they dish out money and you go to sleep. Then probably another government comes that is not willing to dish out money, then you go blowing up gas pipelines and all that. Okay.
Now, the present militant, the ones that seem to have the floor now, might not have asked for the cleanup of OGONI land, and there were some other people might not have. The Niger Deltans themselves might not, in the recent past, have spoken out about the cleanup of OGONI land, but the wanton destruction of the land mass, of the water bodies, of the vegetation, of everything within that area and all the Niger Delta regions, caught the interest of not only the Nigerian government, but even the international community, for them to carry out an assessment and to make some recommendations to the federal government. So this move actually by the federal government is in line with the recommendations of the United Nations Environmental Program, and it is to better the lot of people within there, because it's to caution or to cushion the effect of the serious threat to human health from contaminated drinking water, to concerns over the viability and productivity of ecosystems. So it might not actually have been an immediate agitation, an immediate need of those people, but it is something they need in the long run, even for generations unborn. Because this, they can't even drink water, as in everything is oiled. Their wells, their water wells are oiled. And being a water body, being a water habitat, it ought to be their mainstay, the mainstay of the economy ought to be fishing and stuff that have to do with the rivers. But they can't do that because even the waters are polluted, the fish is dying, and so many things are happening.
That's the issue. You see, when you come around and then you ask yourself, when was the UNEP report released? And when is the government now doing this?
Remember, there have been different governments. I know government is continuum anyway.
Yes, government is always continuum. But you see, like I believe the past government was looking for a legislative framework, a law to empower it. Because immediately you start doing something that does not have a legal backing, the opposition will rise up and will begin to speak. You understand? But with this government, I've seen a lot of approval. Some of the time, budget was not ready, and we see approval, extra budgetary, which might be captured in the budget anyway. But going back, I think the problem of the Niger Delta had been long. In fact, if you read the UNEP report, you find out that this spillage has been on for over 50 years. And it has gotten so bad to the depth of the water, where you get drinking water. If you put your borehole down to the ground, you still get, it has been polluted up to that level. And they are telling you that this cleanup is going to take over 30 years. That shows you the level of degradation of the ecosystem, of the subsoil, of even the rivers, and then the mangroves and all of that. The whole place was rubbished, and then you now pick their prime children and executed them. That's the system that we have. And it's a system that I feel was unjust to the people who had legitimate agitations to say, look, this level, this is what you have done. And they brought out the true picture and said, look at it. And then the government was trying to quieten them up. You do not do that. Whatever legitimate concerns there are, you listen to them. That's why you call it leadership. You call people followers. Without followers, you won't have leaders. And now the leader, Saruwa, is gone. It was a tragic loss, I must say. If the government had listened earlier on, it would never have gotten to this stage. Now we are at this stage. And then new militancy arises. Why did the new militancy arise? You ask yourself a lot of questions. We may say, okay, we may hazard and say, okay, because the other people benefited, this new group want to benefit. What if it is the same group that morphed, that mutated and became the same people? Because if you remember, there were some reports that showed that some of these creeks were attacked earlier, was it late last year? Some gunboats were shooting at and then burning up communities and saying that they were pirates. If you check the internet, you'll be able to see them. And then these issues, and then these people now say, look, we're under attack and all of that. When you do that, you're already sending signal that I do not care. The federal government of Nigeria does not care. In fact, as far as we are concerned, you don't exist. What makes you matter is because you have resources there. And if you don't like it, we are going to come there and crush you, and then we'll still get access to the oil. It is a very dangerous disposition. People perceive things, and they are free to interpret whatever perception they have. And this is where the government has failed. Sorry to say, I must admit, the government has failed in that respect, and especially secondly, in terms of appointment, which is lopsided. If you look at it, you see that it's lopsided. Okay, if they remove let's say you have a minister from your state, and then all of you protest that it's not good, and then they remove it. Just watch the person that will be replaced, the person they will use in replacing him. You know, so people have lost confidence in that aspect. So we argue and say, okay, if all the people that can make Nigeria work are from the same region, there's no problem. That is a very, very dangerous place to get to. It means that you have become numbed, and you are allowing the resources of the country to go to a particular region. If you look at the salary they pay DG, look at the salary they pay somebody in the rank and file, somebody who moves file about. Is it the same thing? Suppose everybody from the same region can contribute towards a common cause to do a certain thing which we do not know of. They will have the wherewithal. But the other side have been removed from the source, from getting access to what the natural resources in the land have produced. Don't forget that we are operating a monolithic economy, anchored basically on oil. If you can't make peace to reign, look at what, I think I saw Atiku give some very powerful quotes, and I think I applaud him for that. Make peace in the Niger Delta, and then you have gas. When you have gas, you'll be able to power your electricity generating sets, and then you'll be able to have power. That will now grow the economy. Until you do that, you've not even begun. These are powerful words. I expect that to have been the posture of the government going forward. But we've not seen that. But thank God at least that we have seen that the OGONI clean-up has begun. All we need to do is to put down, to look at what the government is doing. But I think the government should also make it all inclusive. Call these people to a roundtable conference and say, what do you want? It's the cardinal rule of negotiations. You don't force things down people's throats. You ask them, what do you want? And then you lay the cards on the table and say, because of A, B, C factor, we may not be able to meet X, Y, Z demands, but we can stop at Q, R, S. You understand? But we'll be able to do E, F, E, F later on, and then we'll do. That's how negotiations are. So it becomes a win-win. But as far as the government keeps seeing it as we'll do what we want to do now, then later we'll do. This militancy will cut the production, cut our oil production per day till we get to zero. The boys are serious. That's what we have to tell ourselves. We can't delude ourselves. So we have to make sure we call these boys so that people can go into those places and then repair those things. We continue again.
But if I may ask, what are these guys asking for at this point?
Well, the demands are so much. In fact, new groups are coming out every day. We saw another one that talked about 15 commandments.
That is what I said.
You understand?
And just like I will always say, we must not continue to push blames to the other region. First of all, I'm a Niger Delta. I am one of those that are not happy that the Niger Delta should feed the entire nation. I'm one of those that do not subscribe to that. But even at that, because we own this oil, we have institutions like the NDDC. We have the Ministry of... Why do we have Ministry of Niger Delta? It's not because the oil belongs to us. We have 13% derivation that goes to this same Niger Delta region. Then the question is this: if these are really, if this militancy is actually true, if it is genuine, we should start by asking our governors, what have you done? Do you know how many billions that have gone into that region? That still goes there on a monthly basis, and these people are not asking their governors questions. They are the NDDC, what's his name? Of course, from the inception, of course, from even the inception of NDDC, it has always been handled by people from that region. The 13% derivation, 13% of whatever that comes from oil going into the region. Do you know what that amounts to? And what have they done with it? So I'm expecting that militancy that is going to start from home. When I mean home, start from the Niger Delta region. Ask the governor, what have you done with these billions? Ask those in charge of Ministry of Niger Delta, these billions that are coming into this ministry, what have you done with it? We do not have roads. Of course, the clean-up of OGONI land is not a favor. It's not. We should be ashamed that it's taking UNEP to even remind the government to do that. That is not even an issue. It's one of those things that the government is supposed, Shell and the rest of them should even do it quietly. It's not a favor. It should have nothing to do with the Niger Delta struggle. That is what we are. You take something from our soil, you should tidy our soil. But the struggle should begin from home. That is my anger. There are a lot of billions coming into that place, even if we are asking for more because it belongs to us. But what have we done with the little that has come to us? You can't be going to Abuja to fight the president where you cannot even question your governor. The governor is there, you see him on a daily basis. There are billions coming into that region. You have not bothered to question your governor. What is happening? We do not have road, we do not have this, we do not have that, and billions keep coming. Do you know? Oh my! Do you know the allocation of Bayelsa State and how many people are in Bayelsa? Do you know the allocation of my state, Delta State? Apart from now that even the oil has the revenue has really dropped. Rivers and Akwa Ibom, what have they done with it? So we should start from there, begin to question them. Let them account to us. What have you done with these funds? Then we can proceed to federal. Say, okay, federal, this is what we want. This is not just anybody rising up and begin to carry arms and expect that you will be taken to Abuja to go and dine with. No, we must have a single voice. Why? Okay, even at this point, where are the elders of Niger Delta? I mean, the chiefs, the kings, and all of them. Why are they silent? Why are the political officers that silent? Whether APC or PDP, to their silence on this? Because one way or the other, they know that they are also they have also wronged the people, whether as ex-governor, as a serving governor, or whatever. So let us start from there.
Okay, now Ofe made mention of negotiations, call those people to the table. Now, by the time you actually succeed in bringing people to the table, you will only bring to the table the people you can see. The people whose faces you know. We're talking about the kings. We're talking about
what
community leaders and
discussing with the person.
Aside
Someone
that,
does not even know what it
a
wants.
group, for instance, like these faceless Avengers, how do you want to bring them to the table to hear what the agitations are for and about the Niger Delta region, to be able to even know it in order to meet it? How do you bring them to the negotiation table?
First, the approach. Okay, let me give you a simple example. A mother has a son, a little son, has a daughter. The son wants attention, but the mother is very busy. And you know, like little boys, they'll do a lot of things. They'll hit the wall, busy, pranks and everything until you call, come. What is your problem? The child just wants attention, but the child has done a lot of havoc, scattered this just to get that attention that that child wants. Sometimes you have such psychological approach to getting attention. The methodology may be wrong, the damage may have occurred, but the main thing is that the attention is sought. That was the same way the Yaradua people were able to quell the tension in Niger Delta and call these boys and say, please lay down your arms, and they did. They were militants. Things had happened, people had died, destruction had gone on, but they were able to call. Now, when you have a new government that comes in place, the militants watch and say, how is he going to treat us? Differentially? Is he going to be... And then you now send battalions of army to the region and say, okay. So I would think the approach of the government exacerbated what we are having today. You understand? That's my thinking, is psychological reaction. Okay, you want to crush us. Okay, you want to show us that you are stronger. Okay, you understand. Then they start.
But it started before the government even deployed the military. It was because of the action that the government felt there is no move. It's only the military that can handle the situation.
Beyond that too, beyond that, what, apart from the giving of stipends or paying of salaries and giving contracts to militants, what development did that Yaradua program attract to the Niger Delta? No. I do not condemn that the Yaradua program. I do not condemn it completely. It served the purpose as at that moment. But it's just unfortunate that we have a society where our politicians are lazy-minded. Because after so many years, politicians should have been able to come together and say, where do we proceed from here? But as soon as the amnesty program was on, they all went to sleep. The politicians went to sleep and were just giving money to militants. They forgot that the young ones, for instance, the boy that was 15, 8 years ago, today will be 20-something, that will be grown enough to become a militant. And he's seeing his elder ones making money from militancy, so why will he not? What I'm trying to say, government must look for a way to address the Niger Delta problem, not addressing the issues of individuals who are taken to arms for selfish reasons. And of course, if government does so, everybody will see it, and even the people of the Niger Delta will be the first to say, you are not carrying arm for us. Please go and drop your arm. We will be the one to fight you. Don't carry. Government has done this. Government has done this. We are getting what we want from government.
Now, Murphy, how do you think? What do you think the government now can do, such that it will benefit the whole lot of the Niger Deltans?
Niger Delta.
Yes.
One, the development of the Niger Delta states should be a priority.
What kind of development? Development is in different facets.
Infrastructural development. Start from there. Start from there. Because once you begin from there, people will begin to feel. They will begin to feel. They begin to feel the presence of government. The people will become happier. The way you start from there, look for great employment. That is not also to say that we should not negotiate to control our resources, which is the ultimate. And that is why I'm saying the Niger Delta people must have a single voice. I am one of those that will struggle for it, but I will not carry arms. And I have always supported it, but not by arms. You do not carry arms if you really want the government to hear you. And just like my brother mentioned, made the reference of a child mother-child relationship. Why do parents spank children? Why do they spank children? Because sometimes even as a baby, you are expected, the baby is expected to act above certain. Sometimes when I say, what do you want? I've given you this. You spank children just to correct them. Because whether you like it or not, just like you said, government moving into the South with arms was a reactionary measure. It was because these guys were blowing up pipelines here and there. And let me even use this opportunity to say this. Some of these people that are agitating now were those who said they will make Nigeria ungovernable if Jonathan is not returned. These are the people you are seeing today. What are they really asking for? What are you asking? What do you want the government to do? And let all of us rise and say this is what we want. Yes, they are on course. We are together. But what have you asked for? What do you, if the government decide to say, okay, let's talk. What have you asked for? Just like you said, these are faceless guys. Even when what are we talking about? They should make their demands clear, and all of us we join the struggle.
Okay, now, let me just add to in passing, though not so seriously. You asked what benefit came out of that negotiations. You maintain your production quota, and then you were able to take advantage when the Syrian issue came up, and then oil escalated in price. We were able to take advantage. Even if no development into the Niger Delta, the Nigerian state continued to soldier on. That is a benefit. And that's the reason why you need peace in the Niger Delta, so that Nigeria can carry on for a while until it decides to diversify. That's the way I look at it. Well, if you want the Nigerian project to continue, okay, if we reach zero output per day, how do you think you see massive sack even in the civil service? That's why you need peace in the Niger Delta. Whether they know what they're asking for, whether they don't know, just like a child, you draw it. It's better than you decide what I want to spank.
Who are you going to be making this peace with? Because don't forget, the moment you start doing that, the moment you start compensating criminality, that is even my fear. I'm a Niger Delta. I feel the pains. Look, sometimes when we talk about Niger Delta, most of the people you see doing these things are Ijaw boys. But the Niger Delta goes beyond the Ijaw land. You have the Urhobos. They are not carrying arms today. You have the Isokos. Go to Delta. Go to Ndokwa. Go to Ndokwa in OGONI land. If you see the amount of gas exploration taking place in that place, they have not carried arms. They have not been well treated as well. So why should a particular group take to arms and begin to destroy? Now you are destroying the same environment. You are destroying the environment. So if you love the Niger Delta, why do you want to destroy the environment? Make life unbearable for them, even when life has not been favorable to them.
That's why I said now we go back to the table.
Discuss with who?
What
that is my question.
Of course, you always
discuss this face.
Once you see the thing is,
know what they want.
You had who do you think we would be talking to this time?
You had militants then, and then we used to hear news flash from one Bomo Jomo. You understand? But when the time for let us talk, these people were able to. The government was able to talk with them. You don't say they are faceless, because they are faceless. You cannot reach them.
So if the government decides today to have come to the negotiation table with them,
if they are sure that this government is sincere and they will not be hot and everything, they will come and talk. And then the main thing why you talk is so that there will be peace, and then you now start what you are saying. You can now begin to, when they now see sincerity of purpose, our people can now rise up. The Niger Delta people can say, okay, we can see what is we prevail on you not to do this. And your father cannot tell you not to do this, and you go ahead and do it. At least the little I know, a father is almost like a demigod. A father can curse you, and the curse stays with you for life. That's the much I know.
Well, that's if they see the government as the father in that case anyway.
Yes. And do you know,
if the government wants to treat them as their children?
Well, that's another thing. Yeah, yes.
Have you put that as these guys have representative in the House of Rep and in the Senate? How come all of them are silent on this? Because you can even start from there. Hold those that are representing you accountable. You are there. This is what we want. Go and tell Nigeria this. This is what we are saying. But there has not been that communication between the so-called militants and those representing them, and those representing them have been silent. That is why I can say it categorically that this thing has been politicized. And even the amnesty program, like I said, I won't condemn it. But it brought also a lot of damage to Niger Delta. Youth, I'm from there, go to Niger Delta, an average youth does not want to work. An average youth does not want to work, does not want to go to school. How long are we going to continue to act in that direction? So it has brought more damage. Go to Niger Delta. He said that the youth will tell you he's a militant, he's a gallon boy, he's oil this, or he's a politician. A talk will tell you he's a politician. You ask how, what has it got to offer his politics? So we have to move forward. I believe Nigeria we, the Niger Delta people, a lot. But we must also know how to go about what we want. It is not the talks that will represent us. It is not the talks. We have elites, we have elders. That is just my concern. It's not about going to blow up pipelines and you say you have the interest of Nigeria at heart.
And one can only hope that these militants themselves would listen to the elders, because I think the elders have always been around them.
Administration.
They kind of chose not to speak to them and just took up arms themselves and started blowing up pipelines.
That's the more reason why this administration must talk to the elders of the Niger Delta, not to treat them the way I saw that they treated an Ogoni chief, that was blindfolded with a red scarf and treated so shamefully. Talk to them. You have Edwin Clark. These are elders of the Niger Delta. We have them.
Elders who benefited so much from the amnesty program and all the corruption, and they became so rich that they can't even talk. Those are the problems. Our problems are within us.
So how do we now fix all of this? Because if the elders who we are looking at to bring the militants together, to bring the Niger Deltans together and come to the negotiation table with the government,
why you don't hear from people like Asari
how
anymore?
do we now come to terms with all of this? How do we fix all of this?
The Niger Delta people must have sincerity of purpose, and the struggle or the agitation has to go beyond the jotting. The entire Niger Delta, starting from Edo, Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, must come together and say, this is what we want. Call those representing you back home. Call them back home, have a meeting, so that if you are privileged to see the president, you can say, this is what you want, Oga. This is what we want. This is what our people want. It's not about making any politician a billionaire. It's not about making one person a multi-billionaire. This is what we want that will benefit our people. And we just start from there.
Well, Murphy, let's quickly take a pause there and let's go on a quick break. When we return from this break, our esteemed audience will have the opportunity to contribute their quota to this discussion. Let's know what you think about the cleanup of OGONI land. What else do you think the government can do to better the lot of Niger Deltans? All of these after this break. Do stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ, if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
For topical issues, Nigerians must have something to say.
Arms. We don't need arms for anything. Let them put it into education.
They need to buy another arms now.
What are they fighting for?
Government should deal with them squarely.
Please help us bring back our guests. No money, no markets. We are dying. Everybody is crying. Nothing.
Any man God support, no man stops.
It's a prophecy I believe he must have received from heaven. Yes.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Everything has got to go.
Core TV News now live on all Androids.
Welcome to Core TV Primetime News.
Download Core TV News app from your Play Store. Click on the menu to see all our top stories from politics, sports, business, foreign news and live TV to watch us live on your mobile.
I want to know why I should be believing them.
You can also click on video to see all our YouTube videos. Core TV News, a 24-hour news station. You can now watch Core TV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to Core TV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click Core TV, leave a space, then News. Core TV News, a 24-hour news station.
Many thanks for being there. The program is still Core Digest on Core TV News Lagos, and today we are beaming our searchlight on the cleanup of Ogoni land. Is it a remedy too late, or is it coming just right on time? While you can be a part of this conversation, kindly put a call through to the numbers showing on your screen. If you're calling from outside Nigeria, remember to include the short code +234. +234, and the number itself is 0816-481-8001. Let's hear your views about this matter. Now, this question is coming to Murphy. Before the break, you mentioned that the Niger Delta should be in control of the oil wealth because it is gotten from the area. I dare say the Niger Delta region is a federating unit. It is not standing alone, so somehow it is expected to share whatever comes from it with other federating units because everyone is together.
Yes, that even when I said that, I knew that was not going to come, because that will amount to going to make constitutional amendments because from the way it is today, the constitution does not have provision for that. But if we claim that we practice the same system of government with America, which is the federal system, then we must practice it in total. We must, like America for instance, each state controls its resources and you remit tax to the federal. And I think it was once so even in Nigeria, regions were controlling their resources, and people like Paolo did very, very well with what was coming from the southwest.
Please quickly take this call. This is Sylvester calling from Kaduna State. Good morning, Sylvester.
Hello, good morning, my sister.
Morning to you.
Hello?
Hello, Sylvester. Please go on with your contribution.
Yes, I want to appreciate your guest here in the studio. Yes, what I want to say this morning is, you see, the problem of Niger Delta is not all about cleaning the land. What the Niger Delta should be desirous, or what they should be looking for, is self-determination. Like the other guests there say in the studio, it's not picking one or two people and making them billionaire or multi-billionaire, no. Like you did say, the Edwin Clark and the others who benefited from the amnesty, and now they can't even say anything. What we want is the Niger Belt region, that region, come together and say, this is what we want. We want self-determination. We want the oil well to be controlled. Why is it that the oil well, almost 90% is owned by the northerners, who don't even have a drop of kerosene there? What if this oil has been in the north? How many percent would the Niger Delta and other states, how many percent would they have gotten? I tell you, none. Not even the Yorubas. So what we want is that this thing is gotten from Niger Delta, and this thing should be controlled by the Niger Delta.
Okay.
It is not somebody from the north that will come and determine how many percent should go to the Niger Delta or how many percent should be in the north. Please, my submission here is that the Niger Deltans should come together as a unit and tell the government that this is what we want. And what we want is self-determination. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sylvester. Niger Delta come together as one. Tell the government this is what we want. Self-determination. Ofi, you have something to say?
Well, the self-determination issue, I've not really thought about it in depth, but I think that what you need is a fair share of what you produce. And I believe that if you're in a federation, as in Nigeria, every part and parcel of Nigeria must have the same privilege and the same access to certain facilities that the federation provides. You understand? One particular arm of the government must not be populated by a particular tribe or ethnic group. Go to the NNPC, look at the staff and then the management. Go to the army, look at the top ranking officers. Go to the different ministries, look at those that are heading. It should cut across. That's why the Constitution talks about federal character.
Okay.
It should be like that. Then people start having a new perception that says that, look, this is our country. I remember we used to be very proud of Nigeria. Nigeria is playing ball. All of us are like. That spirit must be. Okay.
Okay, please let's have Mama calling from Iboyi. Good morning, Mama.
Good morning.
Morning to you. We can hear you, Mama.
Good morning.
Contribution. Yeah, morning.
Please, I want to appreciate your discussion this morning. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah. My contribution this morning is regards the statement made by one of your analysts to the fact that we don't really know what the Avengers are agitating for. I think one of the grievances is that the budgetary allocation to NDDC has been reduced, and that of Niger Delta Ministry has been reduced. And as such, they are not happy about that. What they are really agitating for now is for what? Control of what they have in their land. And that is why you can see they're even trying to put up something like their own currency. And again, they have what they call almost what they call Niger Delta Republic. So it will be wrong for us to say that these people are not even demanding for anything.
Okay,
as being said by one of the analysts, I think Murphy.
Mama, can you hear me? Do you actually believe it's possible for the Niger Delta region to control everything that comes from that part? Do you think or do you believe it is possible for the Niger Delta region to control every resource that comes from that area?
Yes, that is that.
It appears we lost connection.
Okay, we lost some connection with Mama there. Controlling what is coming from there. As I mentioned earlier, the Niger Delta region is not even a state. It is like a collection of states, a combination of, like an area, a mass of land and a mass of people. How can they, and they're part of others too, we are all part of the nation Nigeria, and somehow it is expected that whatever we're able to raise or to produce in the country serves, everyone who's part of the country.
Yeah, that's why I can tell you today that if you bring out that conference report and say, look at the conference report, we are going to implement it, you have taken away the sting and the reason why a lot of people are agitating in different parts of the country. People actually made contributions. People actually talked about control of resources and paying to the center. People talked about state police. They talked about a whole lot that if you take that conference report and implement it, you take away the bite. That is just the issue. So at that point, Niger Delta, this will not be saying, okay, we want to control our resources, because already there in the conference report. That's the true fiscal federalism we're talking about. Okay. And we need to go back, otherwise we'll not get it right. Otherwise we'll not see the country diversify into other areas.
Yeah, let's quickly take this call. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, Collins, morning.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Collins. Please make your contribution.
Okay, thank you. We want to appreciate the discussion this morning. Hello?
Hello, go on. We're all ears.
Okay, I just want to make my own contribution on this discussion. You know the problem of Nigeria this time. The leaders of Nigeria have disappointed us, we Nigerians. For many days, they have been deceiving us. And now we decide and we want Nigeria to be divided so that we can manage our resources. If it happens that each state in Nigeria can manage their resources, it's fine. But as far as I am concerned, there's nothing like Nigeria anymore. That name doesn't exist anymore. There is just there in the book to deceive people, to deceive the formative. Had you been this only thing in Kaduna or Sokoto, there will be nothing like Nigeria. They will fight and go their own way. I mean, there's many things they can enjoy and even do in northern part of Nigeria there. How can you tell me that people have been killing? They kill, they say it's Fulani war, they're killing people. The Boko Haram people, they are also fighting, killing innocent people. Now people, they want their freedom. You are shooting arm on them.
Collins, can you hear me? Collins, please, I have a question for you. Should there be any time that should there be any time that each group can stand alone, each region can stand alone? Do you think that even within the region there will be so much unity that there won't be discrimination of any sort, there won't be marginalization of any sort? Collins, are you there?
I'm here. Just that the line is breaking. I can't get into what you are saying.
Okay, if for instance now there is a Niger Delta country or let's say a Niger Delta region or a country, do you think that the country or the region will be able to actually manage its own resources? Because there are different levels and quantity of oil in each of the states. You can't compare what's in Bayelsa or Rivers with what is in Edo or Delta.
They can manage it without any problem. This is the people with one voice. Can you hear me? They can manage their resources because this is people with one voice. They are there with one language. They can understand each other.
Okay. Many thanks to you, Collins, for your contribution.
Yeah, that's okay. Before we get to talk about that, let's please note that when we put a call through, of course, we are connected and we can hear you very clearly. Let's just go on with our contribution and let's make it as snappy as possible. Let's just go straight to the point. Marginalization, I believe, exists in every stratum of the society, even in religious places, in a simple school, in a simple class. There seem to be marginalizations, black, white, but male, female, old, young, different things. So even within the Niger Delta region, there seems not to be so much harmony. Well, maybe that's why you're preaching, coming together, speaking with one voice and all of that. But even within the Niger Delta area, there is disunity.
Yes. Just like I was waiting for you so I could correct the last caller who just mentioned that they are speaking in one voice, they understand themselves, they speak one language. It is not true. Maybe he does not know much about that area. For instance, the Calabar man is part of Niger Delta. The Calabar man can never understand the Benin man. The Urobo man cannot understand the Okwane man within Delta State. Are you with me?
Mm-hmm.
The Isoko man will not understand the Shekiri man within Delta State. So these are also some of the challenges that may also arise. But for me, basically, I think the way we have it now, the government must rise up to the occasion. Government must, because this issue of each region controlling resources is still far away for now, because that will take us back to a whole of a constitutional review and all that. The government must focus attention within the Niger Delta states in terms of development. Then the people of Niger Delta must learn to make adequate or maximum use of whatever that is coming into that region. One of the callers said, because I mentioned earlier that even the militants now, these Avengers now have not really mentioned specifically what their demand is. Then the man said one of their demands is that the allocation to the Ministry of Niger Delta and then this has dropped. has Nigeria's earning not dropped economically, generally? Our earnings has dropped. Crude oil, the production of crude oil has dropped, even due to the fact that they are blowing up pipelines. Then the crude oil price in the international market too has drastically dropped.
Okay, Murphy, let's please take David calling from Edo. Good morning, David.
Yeah, good morning, my sister. I appreciate what you are doing and your guests. So I like the last caller who called from Cotonou. I believe he does not actually understand what is happening here in Nigeria. If you look at the way, especially the politicians, we have even in the Niger Delta or even in the southeast or the southwest, the way they are living or the way they are misappropriating the fund that is meant for the state or for their different constituencies, you will know that even if Nigeria is split into different local governments that we have in the nation, you still discover that our people, there is no way. It's just a part of them. They have to change their attitude and the way they live before we can get these things right. We are talking about people like the Asari, the Kubo, and even the Clark. If you check those people, they are main politicians. If you can actually see statistics of those who have served in Niger, in LGDC, you will discover that those people, the major reason of them is there is just no resources. Check major projects that the NDDC they are constructing in the region. You discover that there is always inflation. That means there is the overcharge or the overbill the project they say they are doing. And if you even check the project they are doing, it's usually substandard. So these are the people within our region. Just as Murphy said, I so much agree with Murphy, and I'm in support of that word. Our people, the Niger Delta Avengers, to some extent, we can't say that what they are doing is wrong. It's wrong to the extent that they are destroying the people and they are destroying the nation. But in the other way around, the leaders in the region have failed them. Because you can't imagine people who are supposed to be speaking for the people that these are supposed to do. After the amnesty, people like Asari, the Kubo, and the rest, none of them open their mouth to talk again about. These are the things, the major problem we are having in our team.
Okay. Thank you so much, David. Some points there. Yeah, you were making a point before David called.
Yes, that the leaders and the political office holders must try as much as possible to make maximum use of the huge sums of money that are coming into that region, so that the people within that region can feel the presence of government. You see, federal government does not do everything for you, and that is the reason why you have the states and the local governments. But unfortunately, we have a society where people do not even look up to the local and state governments. Everybody's focus is in Abuja, and that is because the politicians at state level had made it to be so, which also would have been one of the advantages of embracing fiscal federalism, whereby a governor or a state commissioner for finance will not wait for every 30 days and just jump into Abuja and comes back with money. That is how lazy our governance have become. People just sit down, wait for 30 days, go to Abuja, come back with money, share it. Otherwise, why at this point no single state in Nigeria, especially when I say especially the south states, because they've always had the largest share, none of them has been able to look beyond oil. None of them has been able to diversify. Because and even the federal government is also a victim of this.
Okay, let's have Chiwendu calling from Asaba in Delta State. Good morning, Chiwendu.
Chibweze.
Good.
Yeah,
okay.
Chimobi, good morning.
Morning to you.
I'm just following the program, and as hearing what the very last speaker, the problem we are having is not actually the Niger Delta Avengers problem. Rather, the problem is a political problem. Because if our politicians are actually doing what they're supposed to do and affecting positively in the life of people, this problem wouldn't have been happening. But the problem we have is that even our politicians are not sincere to people. I told somebody something that whenever a young man is hungry, he may resort to violence because he wants to eat. But if you can be able to provide the solution to whatever the person is demanding for, then the person will not resort to violence, because I believe that government sometimes always listen when violence is involved. So our concern is that we should look inward and understand that these people that are fighting are not just fighting because they want to fight, but because they want to tell the government that what they are doing is wrong. So we should come back and look inward and tell the people around us that what you are doing and how you are taking care of us is not good. So that's my contribution.
Thank you so much.
So like I was saying, even the federal government is also a victim of this after so many years. After over 50 years of oil exploration, we have not been able to look beyond oil. Oil could be our major source, but there should be other sources of earnings too for us as a nation.
And the government has kept talking about that diversification, agriculture, tourism,
we have
mining,
heard
and all that.
For the past 16 years, we've heard so much about that. Agriculture. When was the last time you bought a Nigerian rice in the market? They are not there. This is on paper, and at the end of the day, funds are allocated and they look them off. Thank God for because even this oil, as much blessing as it be, it's also a cost. But thank God that the price of oil is falling drastically in the market. Let me see how most of these, today you can see that most governors can't even pay salary. That is how lazy they have become. Because you just wait for oil money, 30 days, go to Abuja, bring money, pay salaries, pocket the rest. Today they can't pay salaries. So and if this continues for a very long time, I'm sure many of them will be forced to look into other areas.
Now, in a place like OGONI Land, the Niger Delta region, what they have seems to be only oil, because the farmlands, the vegetations, the water bodies, everything is bad. How can they move forward? What else can they work on? Can they harness?
First of all, the Ogoni is just one small portion of the entire Niger Delta.
And I'm looking at even the entire Niger Delta region of the states that have oil and the impact of the oil on the communities, how much of stuff it has destroyed and how they can now get up again, and what do you think they can diversify into?
Government first of all has to come in here, because government has also destroyed the land, whether it is Shell, whether it is whatever company, because government aided it. Because what Shell does here, the same Shell will not do it in Britain, the same Shell will not do it elsewhere. They come here and they do this and they go scot-free because the government is always in alignment. So for me, this time the government must come in to the rescue of the people. And when we say government, my dear, I think it does not necessarily mean the central. It doesn't necessarily mean the central. Why do we even have something like NDDC? It's for issues like this, to tackle problems of the people of the Niger Delta. That is why NDDC is set up. Why do we have Ministry of Niger Delta? When you say Ministry of Works, Ministry of Agriculture, it's not to tackle agricultural issues. When I say Ministry of Niger, it's not to tackle the problems of the people of that region. But they have all failed. And hence, we are seeing what we are seeing in Ogoni today. What is cleaning up of Ogoni land? Is that supposed to make a news? If in society, is that supposed to make a news? That is something that should have been done years ago, and that they should have been doing it continuously, and it shouldn't make any news.
Okay, please let's hear from Sunday. He's calling from Ebonyi State. Good morning, Sunday.
Good morning.
Morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, morning. We can hear you.
I want to say your analysts are doing a very good job.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you. Please go on.
Please, I have a little contribution to make. The problem we're having in this country is just our politicians are very corrupt and they are not sincere to us, the masses. What they are after is just their pocket, family's interest, not even Nigeria in general. If only they can be united as one, our politicians, and see the region as one, not one particular region benefiting or trying to oppress one particular region, you see Nigeria was better for it. You understand? Look at sorry for I'm taking people back. When Jonathan was the president, Boko Haram came in, destroying the country, trying to make one side ungovernable. No, it's not that way. Okay, today now that the president is up from the north, Niger Delta are dangerous. They came up again. How will this country be able to develop? It will not work out that way. There should be peace. Every region should benefit, try and support each other. Not one side trying to oppress one side. It won't work out that way. That is why we're having this problem in Nigeria today. You'll see that things won't work out. Anything that should bring us to the table to make peace, there will still be no peace. There will still be no peace. The best thing to do is just change our mindset. We should work for ourselves as Nigerians, not one region benefiting the other region, dying, suffering. Okay, look at the OGONI Land. I've not seen that kind of thing. I just saw the pictures today. Look at the stress of somebody's land. Just for what? For all reason. It's not good.
Okay.
That's just my humble contribution. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sunday. It's calling from a change of mind from all of Nigerians. Now, Ufi, the Niger Delta region has continually canvassed for, more funds from the wealth, from the oil wealth, from the oil resources, because, well, it is drilled from their land and all of that. But come to think of it, there are other parts of Nigeria that need some other things. There are different states. I know the crisis-ravaged Northeast is getting back in shape little by little, but there are still pockets of, the crisis here and there. The internally displaced persons are still in IDP camps. Some of them are even afraid of returning home because they don't know what's happening. We know there are military bases in the Northeast now. There's more presence of the military than used to be. All parts of Nigeria need help. Should we keep concentrating on just this Niger Delta region?
We will always need help, whether as a people or as a state. But you see, it's a fundamental problem. There's no way I talk that I did not make reference to this fiscal federalism. In the US, for instance, just like all fingers are not equal, all the states do not operate on the same economic frequency. Some states are richer than some in the US. And in the US, what California is enriched with, New York, for instance, may not be enriched with that. Do you get? So, in Nigeria, it shouldn't just be about oil. There's no states in Nigeria that do not have one natural resources or mineral resources deposited in it by God. But because of oil money has spoiled us. Nobody wants to look us beyond that. Nobody wants to do anything. Otherwise, every other state will survive without oil. Every other state will survive without oil. And we must look towards that as earlier as possible.
Okay, Ufi.
Yes, like you rightly said, every state will survive. Let me just start from there. You see, I was listening to Professor Patu told me some time ago, and he said that we started with agriculture, and we were producing palm nuts and all of that. And Malaysia came to borrow some of our palm seedlings when they planted it, and today they're one of the world's major.
Okay, please let's have Hakuna calling from Akwa Ibom State. Morning to you, Hakuna.
Good morning to you, my lovely sister.
Morning.
So how are you doing?
We're good, thank you. And you?
Yeah, I'm fine. At the same time, I'm not fine.
So why are you not fine? And why are you fine?
Why I'm fine? Because I've seen the brand new day of today. At the same time, why I'm not fine? Because anytime I'm thinking what happened to Nigeria, I'm not happy. I spoke with you yesterday on behalf of Niger Delta Avengers because I'm part of it. My brother close to you, he was talking about the past government. Yes. If you think, if one person like somebody like Senator Obot Ukpabio, when he was the governor of Akwa Ibom State, should be acquiring 14 oil blocks, only him, in one state, and without employing the community that owns that oil, how would those people feel? Ordinary governor having all 14 oil block only mean. And that was the reason why I made up my mind to join Avengers, because I want to revenge.
Okay. Hakuna, I have a question for you. Now, if the federal government decides to come to the negotiation table, the federal government wants to have a talk with people from the Niger Delta region, and of course, the Niger Delta Avengers, which you've claimed to be a member of, would you be willing to come forth, show your identity, speak with the government, and make your demands known?
Surely, I'll do that. See, a man born once and he died once. If the government are ready to listen and bring their ear down for me to talk to them, because I am part of it, I'm in the field, I know all what happened in the field. My dear listener, there is no young man who would like to burn and carry a gun. Something must to push you to carry a gun.
Now, Hakuna, Murphy has a question for you.
Hakuna.
Yeah, go ahead.
My brother.
I'm hearing you.
One language, waiting exactly when they ask for, the Avengers, what you now want make government do now?
My brother, what we need is that,
just one.
Number one, no job opportunity. The problem is job opportunity. No good medical center.
Good.
No good roads. No good light. We're just like the slaves.
Good. Hakuna.
When all these things come up, this thing is going to stop. No, there's no man that would like to carry gun if he has job doing.
Hakuna.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I agree with you. I come off for Akwa Ibom from Uyo. It never reached 1 month, so I get very used to that area. Make we start the fight from home. Maybe you just mentioned Akpabio now. You mentioned Akpabio.
Yes.
I come off for you, not in never so I know so much about what they happen for you. Make we start from Akpabio. Make we start from the senator when they represent you. Make you start from there from Akwa Ibom. Make we start like that from Delta. Make Rivers, Bayelsa. Make we start from there. See the things where you mention job opportunity. Not be Buhari go create job opportunity for you now. We'll get agencies. Government not be just about one person. We'll get agencies. That's why the governor for that your state supposed to tackle some of your problem. The person when they represent you for Senate supposed to attract some things, some development come that your area. You understand?
It's off the line already.
So please make we take them up from there. And not just about carrying the arms. You are destroying Niger Delta the more. You are destroying it the more.
Okay, I believe Hakuna heard that, and well, of course, Hakuna, we are really very willing to speak to you and to get to the root of all of this, because what is happening is not just affecting the Niger Delta area. It is affecting you, even yourself. It is affecting other people within the region. It is affecting the old women, affecting the young children. Even school children can no longer go to school. They can't sit for their exams because there are problems everywhere. Gas pipeline, gas flaring, so much is happening. Even the oil companies that are operating and are paying taxes to the government, which is later sent back to the communities to help with development, can no longer operate as they used to. And remember that even the quantity of the oil is reducing daily. The price is dropping daily.
The man Hakuna mentioned, Akpabio, was the governor. Today he's sitting in the Senate. They are silent on this. He was in Akwa Ibom. He saw the degradations there. He saw the oil squeeze. Today he's in Senate.
Let me come.
And a whole lot of others.
Let me hold a little brief for Akpabio. I know Akwa Ibom. I schooled in University of Uyo, so it's a place that I know. It was like a glorified village. This man came in, has been able to do so much. And look at the almost world-class hospital that he built. If Nigerian leaders are sincere, we don't even need to travel abroad.
We traveled abroad. He had an accident in Abuja.
So there were security issues.
How?
There was don't go there.
Go there. We should forget about
don't go there.
Individual Akpabio thing and
okay, wait. Because if you keep mentioning,
I saw that hospital myself.
At a point, I was comparing between Akpabio and Fashola, and I said to myself that Akpabio outperformed Fashola. I don't know, but I just felt like that. That's my own personal opinion. He did quite a lot. He may not have done everything. Having 8 years is not even enough to develop an area, but he was able to do. And then the way he spread the development into places where, for instance, you look at Abak, look at the Tina, he spread in such a way that development moved even into the interior local governments. That the much I know, and people who have been in Akwa Ibom will tell you Akwa Ibom, yeah, that means Akwa Ibom is fine, because they know Akwa Ibom and people travel down.
It's political.
We're able to say
followers will tell you that I left Akwa Ibom not quite long. I saw the things he did.
No, I'm telling you,
I was
asked
one question. Well, I'm not a politician. That's why I didn't want to discuss this politician. There was one question they asked me there. They said, you said, okay, you did this is fine. Brother, do you know how much was coming into Akwa Ibom State? The highest allocation all over the federation. It's going to Akwa Ibom and still goes to Akwa Ibom State today.
Okay, let's Ufi get through with this discussion. We're running off already.
Yes, so what I was trying to say, if we are asking our senators questions, it is to lay the things on the table and have one voice, like you said. Totally agreed. And that's the best foot forward. But until the government shows that, look, I am listening to you, it's not about force, it's not about matching violence with violence. It's about, I want to get to know what the problem is, and I want to solve it. I have the sincerity of purpose. That's why the world is advising, UK advising, America advising, look for a political solution, talk to these people. Let's start from there. Then we can spread out and say, okay, the first phase of what we are going to do this, we are going to do that, we are going to do that. You don't need to give them money. You understand? And then when they see that all of these issues are being addressed, they will have no reasons to carry arms. After that, if they carry arms, it's a different ball game altogether. Okay. But you cannot at this stage match violence with violence, because it will only escalate the issue. And then the Niger Delta area will now become an unsafe place, except the government wants to do something which is different from what we are thinking. But other than that, the government should listen. That's what government is about.
Okay, so do you think that the OGONI Land Clean-Up is a remedy coming too late?
For me, I said, like from the beginning, I said, better late than never. But should have been long ongoing. As far back as when Kensaro started the agitation, it will have been addressed as at that time. Okay,
now on a final note from you, Murphy.
Yes, I will advise my brothers in the South that they should not destroy the South further. We are complaining that oil companies have destroyed our land. We have nowhere to farm. We can't fish. We can't feed ourselves like we used to. And if they continue to blow up pipelines, it will mean that in the near future we may not even have a place to live. So they must abstain from that. I am part of them. If they are ready to agitate with pen and paper, we've gone beyond carrying arms. That is not going to do us any good. They should go and ask the Biafran people who witnessed the civil war. Till today, it has not left their memory. The damages is still there. Look at the northeast, the Boko Haram issue. It will take probably the next 100 years, if possible, to bring northeast to where it was. Okay. So when you go to war, you suffer it the most. They must not allow that to happen in the south, in the Niger Delta. If they want to agitate, we are together. We are ready to agitate, but not with arms. Not with arms. The president averted his trip to Ogoni Land yesterday. Some person said, of course, that is just, we're just joking. I thought people said he was scared of the militant. Imagine the security apparatus of the president. If the president has gone with such heavy security, do you think the militants will withstand it? And at the end of the day, it will amount to casualties in the same Niger Delta. So there must be peace, and we'll continue to agitate. We want more of the oil money.
There must be peace. Okay, I take the part, there must be peace. Wanting more of the oil money, well, let's pray that oil prices rise again, and global oil prices, and then it can favor everyone. I must sincerely appreciate you both for being a part of the program today. Ufizono, legal practitioner, thank you for your time. Thank you for coming around.
Thank you.
And of course, also Murphy Abadon, your public affairs analyst. Thank you for your thoughts, and especially for the way you were able to come in with the whole pigeon thing and handle that matter of Hakuna. Many thanks for coming today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Well, we'll be drawing the curtain on this, but not without saying that violence really achieves nothing. With peace, we can make much more. You can understand Hakuna and everyone listening, everyone watching, everyone who might belong to the Niger Delta Avengers or who belongs to the Niger Delta region and is agitating for something from the government. Well, the media, of course, can always be your mouthpiece. It's about engagement, it's about involvement. It's not about arms, because even close relatives will be casualties, and we may never fully recover from the brunt, from the impact, the negative impact, the consequences of such actions. Let's go about it, as Murphy has said, with pen and paper. We can achieve much more. That's why we're educated, and these are more civilized ways of getting our voices heard. By doing that, we can even get the international community involved. They will speak our cause. Get a way to lobby our government to actually listen to us and have a better Nigeria. All we seek is a peaceful land, a land where there is peace and harmony, where every man can make his mark, where every man can amount to something, where everyone will be proud to be a Nigerian. Let's stop the arms. Let's stop the violence. Niger Delta can move forward. The cleanup of OGONI land may not be a total end to the problems, but it is a good start. Let's join in this development, not just at the federal level, at the state level, at the local government level, and even in districts, as groups, as communities. Let's do well and let's make our nation better. Thank you very much for watching today. It's the last edition for the week. Tomorrow it will be time for Core Digest Extra. I am Abosede Omowi. God bless Nigeria. On behalf of everyone, have a very splendid weekend.
Is it crazy or autocracy? Or what type of crazy is that? Except crazy.
News making the headlines.
Black Maria is to carry criminals, trading looters that are in government today.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
Slap you in the face. They don't put words into my mouth.
Whatever it is that will bring our military to disrepute, I said to hell.
On Core Digest,
I want to know why I should be believing them.
Every weekday, we bring all of these together and take them to the court of public opinion.
Everybody has a right in Nigeria.
Where you are the judge.